I am the contrarian, and this is my world.
Hi, I'm Saket. I'm here to take on the topic of Internet of Things for a very heated discussion with Rajiv, because he says that it's not important and it's something which I thoroughly disagree.
The Internet of Things. You know, the world of technology has one truly bad habit. Really great things are described in the most obtuse and most boring of manners. There was a time when something very intelligent was called fuzzy logic. Now we have something called the Internet of Things. Now I can give you a guarantee. Go and speak to 100 people, 99 will say we have no idea. And when you explain it to them, the first question will be, why would we call it the Internet of Things? Terrible name, but of course there is somebody with me who doesn't think that. Very excited by the entire idea. I'm going to leave it to you right now to explain to people what, according to you, is the Internet of Things.
Talking about a layman's perspective, we use the Internet today as a source of information. It's a normal trend to call that as the Internet of Information. So when you go to Google, to Wikipedia, to YouTube, you're actually going and accessing information which is essentially made by humans. So you're writing mails, you're clicking pictures, you're recording videos. So there's an upper limit to which humans can produce data over the Internet. However, Internet of Things takes producing data and using that data to the next level. Why is that and how is that? You are not restricting creation of data only to humans, and you're enabling a device to produce certain amount of data based on the sensors which it has, and then be able to use that in an intelligent way so that you get the right kind of a decision and you can optimize the way you can do your logic and decision making.
So for you, the Internet of Things is machines talking to machines, taking decisions, sensors, and all other intelligence built.
Absolutely.
See, this is what I'm saying. When you talk about machines and intelligent decisions, it's an oxymoron if you use it in the same, at the present moment,
Sure.
in every which way. An intelligent decision taken by a machine has to still be fed by us. The sensors must be able to report it.
Right.
A sensor may be 100% accurate,
Right.
but what it does by sensing that as the next step is still fed by us. A machine taking a wrong decision for you, 80 machines taking wrong decisions for you at the same time, software glitch, a problem with unreliability, could completely destroy your life.
See, when you're saying machines will be taking decisions, the first advantage that you get with machines, it's a zero error kind of a thing in the sense. See, I'll tell you why it's zero error, because you are designing the algorithm with which you know the output will be 0 or 1. If there is something which is beyond the scope of the machine to decide, it will not operate, as simple as that. But if there is something in the if and else loop which falls in that bracket, you know exactly that this will be the output. The same processing power that if needs to go through a human being, the amount of time, the amount of energy that's wasted is much more. So out here the efficiency, the working goes up. And that's why, you know, you've seen the computing powers go up and how that has affected our lives.
When you can get machines to talk to machines, privacy we spoke about is a big factor.
Right.
But privacy of the kind that is intrusive. The cameras that you use to make sure your house is not burgled, if hacked into, your privacy can be completely and totally hacked out, right?
Absolutely.
Can happen, and it could
Absolutely.
even happen with an error, not necessarily somebody trying to hack into it, but a decision taken that transmit this, you know, two people that have just got together, have entered their bedroom, transmit those images onto the YouTube and make a really good video. Or a nuclear reactor.
Okay,
Part of the machine of things,
absolutely.
right? It will be part of machine to machine. We have heard about a virus that actually may have been used in a place
Stuxnet,
like, right?
right.
Okay. Imagine that kind of control with a hacking community of 16-year-olds who think it'd be real fun to just press that red button.
Absolutely, Rajiv. So firstly, to add to what you said, I mean, see, I come from a background of security, so I understand the concerns. You know, there's this search engine called Shodan, which doesn't search for data, it searches for devices on the internet.
Right.
So if you go and search for web cameras, it'll give you a lot of open web cameras which you can just go and access without any passwords. When you talk about, you know, hackers getting an access of nuclear, we saw Stuxnet, we saw Flame.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely possible, Rajiv. Today, if we lock ourselves out, saying that we are not to go to that level of evolution because these challenges exist, it just doesn't work. It's about risk management today.
Embracing technology and saying we better stop. I mean, I love technology, but I am not averse to the problems it has, right? I'm
Right.
not blind to them at all.
Yeah.
But there are things where you say, oh, I can't stop using a smartphone because it might get hacked. End of the day, it's going to be contacts and a few pictures of mine.
Right.
This is not contacts and a few pictures. This goes above and beyond. There is usually a time not to stop evolution of technology, and there is usually a time to say, let's just sit back and think what we are about to do. Isn't this one of those times? To take it a little easy, take a breather, think about this before we go all wild with machine to machine.
So, the Internet of Things as an idea came by this guy called Kevin Ashton in 1999. It's been 15 years that people have been talking about.
But
Internet of Things.
technology wasn't ready. I don't think the reason
It
we
is
have.
still not ready. That's the
Exactly,
point. I
right.
agree on that part.
But aren't we on the cusp now where
Absolutely,
things are
we're
starting
on
to
that
talk to each
creating
other?
curve.
Yes.
Absolutely. So you see, Cisco predicts there'll be 50 billion connected devices. Gartner says 30 billion connected devices.
They're all
by
looking at it in
2020.
terms of the amount of money that can be made off this, right?
Yeah,
It's
$15
a
trillion
trillion dollar
$15
market.
trillion. I
Right,
mean, that's
exactly. So
what they say.
that's what they're excited about.
No, but then the money can only be made only when people are using that product at a generic customer level, like you, me, and everybody sitting out here.
Right.
So, the second point which I'll make out here is, now when you said that, Saket, the person who's designing that algorithm which gives you the decision is in no context to be caught liable
Right.
if the solution
Decision
is,
ma- yeah.
if the decision is not correct.
Right.
I would not agree to that in a complete way. I'll give you a small example. When an iPhone operating system developer sits out there and makes a slight change in the user experience of the iPhone, it's me who's using the iPhone, right?
The classic there, if it's not good, the consumer won't use it. That's what you're saying?
That's a
Yeah,
big,
see, this is the whole point. The seduction of technology. I mean, are you saying that there are no dissatisfied Apple customers right now that have gone and bought another Apple phone?
but still, I mean,
Apple fanboy army. I mean, are we forgetting about the fact that there are people that are seduced by either the brand or the
that's
promise
true,
of the
Rajiv,
brand
but
or
at
the
same
brand
time-
promise technology?
At the same time, if Apple would have taken my credit card details and it would be there lying in some other place where that kind of a damage, it has made a dent on my privacy, I would never subscribe to an Apple next time. So you're
So when the
saying
Sony, the PS3 system got hacked,
Right.
they lost how many people and how many came back?
a couple of million people.
Yes, and how many came back? I mean, are they at the present moment lower than that base or higher?
Yeah, they're higher than it.
So the whole point of it is that at this present moment, the seduction of technology is
Right.
higher than the failure rate and people walking away because of that. And this is the most seductive technology mankind has ever heard of.
Absolutely.
So
exactly.
I'm saying failure will not necessarily be the filter for people to stop using it. Let's do the hand on your heart
Sure.
thing.
Okay.
Before we make the greatest screw up ever, isn't it time to get a few things, the technology, the policies, the law, and a escape plan from the machine to machine, all in place before we go ahead?
Hand on your heart, yes, this is happening, and it's happening in a very, very rapid pace. And one of the major challenges that people are facing is firstly not having the human resources to understand this technology
Correct.
itself. Now, when you see that there is absolutely no course which actually goes ahead and gives you a very siloed approach to this particular,
gonna get smacked in the face.
you're going to get smacked in the face.
And bad, right? For a person like you, who's of course so euphoric about this entire thing,
Right,
in a sentence or two,
sure.
the red flags that you see.
So when you talk about problems out here, I would say first is of course the privacy of the data because it's
Okay,
going on the
privacy.
cloud, so nobody knows where it's going. Secondly, the integrity of the amount of data which is going out there, that whether the data which is being produced and sent is actually authentic or not,
Correct.
becomes a big problem. When you talk about devices, especially when there are sensors, so with the sensor on my bat is powered by a battery, in order to ensure the security of the data, it has to encrypt. To encrypt, you need large processing power. It's always
So these are
possible.
the very geeky ones. I mean, do you have a red flag which is more personal and emotional?
About Internet of Things, the biggest, I would say the biggest red flag would be you don't get experts of Internet of Things. The human
So
resources
you're saying
availability
that the knowledge base to do this right,
To do this
and that is the
right
most
is
critical part of it,
for
may not
anything.
just be there.
Right.
Okay, I'm really glad we're ending on that note, because that's really what my entire point is.
Right.
Are we ready for something like this? It's going to happen. There's no two ways about it, but are we ready for it is the big thing. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you
Great,
so
great
much.
conversation.
Lovely
And of course, that then is the Internet of Things. Now, I have one last piece of advice to all you people who are creating the Internet of Things. Can you please change the name? I mean, the phrase itself is a disastrous start. Don't call it machine to machine. Don't call it Internet of Things. Let's come up with a better name. That'll be the better start. Then we'll do everything else that we discussed. We'll see you next week on The Contrarian. Thank you. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I am the Contrarian, and this is my world.